Hello everyone, hope you all are doing great. One thing we have learned through this quarantine, we never actually thought about how animals felt locked inside their whole lives. It's just been a few weeks that we are locked inside our houses and we are feeling so terrible. We are dying to get outside, right? Those birds which are confined to their cages, those animals which live their lives in the zoo die there. How pensive it must be for them. Some might ask, no, animals are not that intelligent that they will feel sorrow. They are getting to eat, they are safe, nobody is killing them. So, what's the sorrow in that? What is the point of being sad? Now that all of us are inside the house, you will understand how bad they must be feeling. And for those who think that no animals cannot understand feelings like humans, I will tell you a story. This is a real one. You can confirm it. There is a page on Wikipedia which is dedicated to a dog which was named Hachiko, and there are movies made on that dog. There is a movie in English also, Hachi, the dog's tale. So Hachiko was a Japanese Akita dog. Akita is the breed. His owner's name was Uino. So the owner worked somewhere far away and he used to take train every day to commute to his office and back to his home. So Hachiko always used to he would know automatically what was the time of his owner to come back, and he will go and he would sit outside the train station and wait for his owner. One day, Uino, the dog's owner, he died in his office only. He had a brain hemorrhage and he died, and he never came back. He died on May 21, 1925. And for next almost 10 years, till March 8, 1935, the day Hachiko died, he kept waiting on that station every day, same time when his master's train used to arrive. For 9 to 10 long years, every day after the master was dead, the dog used to every day wait outside that railway station. He's so famous world over. Even on that station that he waited, there is a bronze statue for him. World over, you will find books, movies, statues for that dog. So, was his feelings any different from what we humans feel? Even we will not do that for anyone that Hachiko did for his master. Waited 9 years at the same spot, even when the master would never return. So, think, animals like us have feelings, they can understand everything. If you are treating them with love, they will return that love. Our lesson, My Early Home, is written by Anna Sewell. Now, it is not directly written by her. She wrote a novel named Black Beauty. Now, Anna was born in a very poor family, and she started going to school at the age of 12. Why? Because parents couldn't even pay for the education of their children. Her mother was also an author, and at the age of 12 she first time went to school, and at 14 she had an accident and she damaged her ankles very badly, and after that she couldn't walk on her own. She used to use crutches to walk, and for her commute she was very dependent on horse carriages. At that time horse carriages were used to commute. Now that developed her love for horses, and she used to notice how inhumanly they were treated. So the novel Black Beauty was written by her to encourage human practices of treating animals, especially horses. And children, this novel was written with the intention of adults as an audience, but it ended up to be called a children's classic. And this is the first English novel who is written by the perspective of an animal. The a horse, a horse named Black Beauty, is the hero of this novel, Black Beauty, and the whole novel is told by him. It's somebody else is not telling the horse's story. The horse himself is telling his story, and a small part of that is here in your chapter, My Early Home. This starts with the birth of, the first experiences that horse had, Black Beauty had in his life. This lesson is based on that. Sometimes the great stories, novels, we study them by making them into a short story, a whole short story. Sometimes we just take a part of it and study. So in this novel we are taking a part of his life and studying. If you get chance after this lockdown is over, and if you can get ask your parent if you can find a online copy of this novel, try to read it. It's a children's book classic, one of the bestsellers books of, written for children. Actually it was not written for children, I've already told you, but it is now known as a children's classic. So now we will start with our lesson. Okay, dear children. So first you can see right here there is a warm-up exercise. Solve this crossword using the clues. You can do this in any of your rough books. Now we will start with the story. The story starts, Black Beauty tells about the first thing that he remembers. The first place that he remembers was a large pleasant meadow. Now what is a meadow? Field, grass filled area for animals to graze in. Now with a pond having clear water in it, and some shady trees leaned over it, and rushes, which is a tall grass like plant that grow near water, and water lilies grew at the deep end. Now he is describing the place that he used to live in. Over the hedge, now hedge means a line of bushes or small trees planted very close together, especially along the edge of a field. There was a plowed field, and on the other there was a gate, which was their master's house, which stood by the roadside. Now at the top of the meadow was a plantation of fir trees, and at the bottom a running brook with steep banks. Now what is a brook? A small stream. Now he has described the area that he used to live in. That was the first memory of a place that he had. Now where he says that when I was young I drank my mother's milk because I couldn't eat grass, and by the daytime he used to run by her side, night lay close to her and sleep, and when it was hot they used to stand by the pond in the shade of the trees, and when it was cold it was they had a nice warm shed near the plantation. Now as soon as he was old enough to eat grass, mother used to go out to work during daytime and come back in the evening. Then he says that there were 6 young colts in the meadow beside him, and they used to play together. So they're somewhere as big as the grown-up horses, and somewhere as small as him, and they used to all run together, have great fun. They used to gallop together. Now what is gallop? Gallop is when a horse runs fast. Okay, so they used to run round and round the field, and as hard as they could go, and sometimes they used to play rough, means they used to start biting and kicking each other frequently means very repeatedly, regularly. Then one day his mother saw this, particularly rough they were playing one day, and the mother saw this and she whined means past tense of whiny, a soft sound made by a horse. Now the mother whined to call him, and when he went there, she said, see, you pay attention to what I'm going to say and remember this always. The colts here who live here are good colts, but they are cart horse colts, means they are not very hybrid colts. they don't come from in a horse's language. If you understand, they are not coming from a very reputed families, so they are not having that culture, that upbringing that you have. She was trying to say that the manners that they have is not up to the mark, that is why they are biting and kicking, right? So she said, you are well bred means you come from a nice lineage, a nice reputed family, and your father has a great name in these parts, and your grandfather even won a cup 2 years back at the new market races, and your grandmother had the sweetest temper of any horse I ever knew, and I in person, have you ever seen me kick or bite anyone? So I hope that you inherit your lineage and you grow up to be gentle and good. Hmm? Don't start behaving and copying the horses that you're playing with, so you don't learn bad ways, and do your work with goodwill and lift your feet up well when you trot. Know what is trot? Trot is run slowly. When horses run slowly, and never bite or kick even in play. So Black Beauty says, I have never forgotten my mother's advice. I knew she was very wise, and our master thought a great deal of her. Her name was Duchess, and he often called her Pet. Means the name of the Black Beauty's mother's name was Duchess, but their master used to call her Pet. So then he goes on to describe about his master, who he says that was a very good and kind man. He used to give them good food, good lodging. What is lodging? Lodging is a place to stay. And he always used kind words. He spoke kindly to his little children also, and the horses also. Everybody was very fond of him, and the mother of Black Beauty, Duchess, also loved her master very much, and whenever she used to see him at the gate, she will neigh, and with joy she would neigh and would trot up to him, and he would pat and stroke her and say, well, old pet, how is your little darky? Now who is darky? Black Beauty was darky. Black Beauty's color was dull black, so his master used to call him Darky, and then he would give him a piece of bread, and they were very good, and sometimes he used to bring carrots for Duchess, Black Beauty's mother, and she will be very happy, and she will relish the carrot and eat it. All the horses would come to him, but Black Beauty feels that he and his mother, Duchess, were the favorite of his master. His mother always took their master to the town on a market day in a light gig. Now what is gig? Two-wheeled carriage drawn by one horse. So gig is light, that is why it is called a light gig. Okay, so there was a playboy Dick. Now another character in the story is a plowboy. Now what is a plowboy? A boy who guides a horse when it plows a field. Now in some areas of the world, in our country, oxen plow the field. In some countries, horses also help plowing the field. Now Dick was a playboy who sometimes came into their fields to pluck blackberries from the hedge, and when he had eaten all he wanted, he would then have fun with the colts, means play with the colts. And how did he play? That was a very bad thing that he used to do. He used to throw stones and sticks at them to make them gallop. When they will be hurt, they will run, they will gallop. So he used to throw stones and sticks. The really bad thing to do, right? Then the horses didn't mind him much, and just they will gallop off. Sometimes a stone would hit and hurt them. Sometimes the stone will miss the target, and sometimes it will hit, and when it hit, they really were hurt, but they couldn't do anything. One day he was at this game, and he did not know that the master of these horses, owner of them, was in the next field, and he was there watching this. And when he saw that he was throwing stones and sticks at the horses, he jumped the hedge in a snap, and he caught Dick by the arm, and he gave him such a box. Box means he gave him a blow with the fist, and then he roared with pain and surprise. Who roared? Dick. Dick was boxed, so he roared with pain and surprised. As soon as we saw the master, we trotted up near to see what went on. The horses saw that the master had come, so immediately they came to see what he is going to do next. And what did the master do? He just shouted, "Bad boy," he said, "bad boy to chase the colts. This is not the first time, not the second, but it shall be the last. There, take your money and go home. I shall not want you come on my farm again." So we never saw Dick anymore. Old Daniel, the man who looked after the horses, was just as gentle as our master. So we were well off. Well off means comfortable. So here in the last passage, Black Beauty says, he narrates what happened after his master caught Dick throwing stones and sticks at the horses. He gave him a box, and he told him, "You are a bad boy, you are chasing the colts and you are hurting them, and this is not the first time, not the second time, but this will be the last time. You take your money and go from here, go home, and don't come in my farm ever again." After that, Black Beauty never saw Dick. But there is another character here, Old Daniel. He is the man who used to look after the horses, and Black Beauty says that he was as gentle as their master. So life afterwards was very comfortable. Anyway, it was comfortable. The only hiccup was Dick, who used to hurt them by throwing stones at them. So you saw the lesson describes the early life of Black Beauty. That is why the chapter is known as My Early Home, because it describes the first home of Black Beauty. You know, dear children, in the life of a horse, sometimes he goes through many stages, where after he grows up, he is sold to another owner, and then he's passed to some other person, and he does many things, like some might go and take part in races. If he is a well bred, carries good genes, and he can run fast, they get chosen for running races, and some, they are used to be carry people in carriages, and some are used to carry goods, depending on the strength they have, the how they look. If they are very beautiful, they are just sold to rich people, and they are kept there just for their pleasure. People keep pets, nice pets. People with money, they keep horses also as pets. So depends on how they look and what breed they are of. So Black Beauty also went through a lot in his life, and this whole novel, Black Beauty, tells his life story, out of which we have read about his early home. Okay, now I feel you have understood the lesson. I have given you assignment also, warm up assignment. You do that in your rough book, and next video will be of the poem of lesson number 2, and I will tell you what's the name of the poem. The name of the poem is Choosing Their Names, written by Thomas Hood. Now this poem is also about cats. So this whole this whole chapter is dedicated to animals. Chalo, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.